Obsidian plugins won't just wreck your Vault, they'll wreck your life if you're not careful. The more you use Obsidian, the more it becomes your second brain or nexus of operations. If your Vault becomes slow or you lose data, you will freak out. Trust me, I know. Most users new to Obsidian rush to install plugins. They seek to enhance their Vault with cool features, but this comes at a cost. Plugins can significantly affect the performance and reliability of your Vault. With that said, I'm about to show you how you can leverage plugins to transform this seemingly boring app into an ideas and operations powerhouse. You will learn what plugins are, how to install and manage them, and finally, I'll show you an example of how plugins put Obsidian into Overdrive. Oh, and I'll also give you an advanced debugging tip. Plugins are additional pieces of software that you can install to extend Obsidian's functionality. There are two types of plugins, Core and Community. Core plugins are built by the Obsidian team and are essential for basic functionalities. Community plugins, on the other hand, are created by users. Let's talk about core plugins first. The vast majority are activated by default. I don't recommend turning any of them off until you get the hang of Obsidian. For this demo, however, let's try deactivating and activating the Bookmarks plugin. When I toggle the plugin switch, the bookmarking functionality in Obsidian is completely turned off. See how the bookmark icon disappears? If I toggle it back on, the functionality resumes and the icon reappears. This works the same way for all plugins. This is very important if you feel your Vault slowing down. Toggle off recently added plugins. See if it makes a difference. Plugins with configurable settings display a cog icon. Clicking on it takes you to the plugins settings page. This is a good moment to explain the two areas within Obsidian settings that are crucial for managing plugins. The first area, located in the options menu, is where you activate or deactivate plugins, as we showed earlier. Below the options, you will find two additional sections, Core plugins and Community plugins. Here, you'll find all the core and community plugins installed on your machine. Clicking on any plugin will present its settings. When you click on Community plugins on the left, this screen will appear. Obsidian plugins are safe for the most part because the Obsidian team and community work hard to keep the ecosystem secure. However, you should always exercise caution. Make sure to read user reviews and update plugins when necessary. To start using community plugins, click the Turn on Community Plugins button. This turns off restricted mode. This is important to know. If your Vault is not performing well, turn on restricted mode to see if that makes a difference. Nothing bad will happen. You're only disabling plugin functionality. Clicking on Browse opens this screen where you can find all the plugins you can imagine. There are 1,463 plugins at the time I recorded this video. No other note-taking app has this many plugins. In other words, your customization options are limitless. Here, plugins are sorted by number of downloads from left to right. You can also see when plugins were last updated. As a rule of thumb, plugins with more downloads and recent updates are likely to be better maintained. This, however, is not the only factor you should consider when deciding whether to use a plugin or not. What matters is how helpful a plugin is to you. To check you have the latest versions of plugins, click on Check for Updates. Come back here once in a while to ensure you have the latest versions. Here's a debugging tip. I won't go into much detail because this is a lot more advanced. However, I do want to show you how to detect errors and warnings happening in your Vault. Obsidian is an Electron app. If you hit Option-Command-I, the developer console opens. I created a plugin that simulates errors and warnings. This way, I can show you what to look for. First, I'll simulate a warning. As you can see, the console shows a yellow message. Warnings are generally nothing to worry about, but they provide useful information. Now let's simulate an error. The message appears red. If you see an error, don't panic. Not all errors are bad, but if your Vault is running slow, error messages can give you hints about which plugins might be causing issues. Okay, I'll hit Command-Option-I again to hide the developer console. Before we continue, if you want to learn advanced ways to streamline your Vault, let me know in the comments. Also, take a second to hit the thumbs up. This helps me know if you are finding value in these videos. Alright, let's take a look at Obsidian in Overdrive. As an avid learner and YouTube creator, it's incredibly important for me to do research on YouTube. Manually gathering information from each video and creating notes for them is time-consuming, so I developed a plugin. When I hit Command-Option-Y in any browser, the URL is copied to my clipboard and opens Obsidian. Now I paste the URL and click Create Note, and I'm done. The plugin fetches the video information and transcript from YouTube. It analyzes my personal tags and matches them to the video's content. It generates new tags, summarizes the video, and creates highlights. It also processes the transcript, adds it to my note, and creates embeddings which enable me to use AI to interact with the video. My plugin is not publicly available yet. If you're interested in acquiring it, let me know in the comments and subscribe to learn when you can get it. In this video, you learned the fundamentals of plugins. However, we didn't talk about the best plugins for beginners, so watch this video next to make sure you have the essentials.